Morning, guys. On today's Shop Talk, we need to winterize our rigs because it is already into November and it's starting to get cold outside. We're starting to see freezing temperatures. We've already had our first snowfall. And so I wanted to make a Shop Talk discussing things that we do for winterizing and things for you guys to consider while looking at your own rig. So join us on this Shop Talk as we winterize these rigs. To start off, I have 3 rigs here. I have Clay's Prospector with a 4-wheel camper on it that has water systems, food systems, all the things in it. I have our Patriot Camper X3 trailer, which has a hot water heater, a water tank underneath, a fridge, dry food storage. Then I have Adigan here, which has production gear, deep cycle batteries. They all have deep cycle batteries. This one is more about production. It has water on it as well. 2 of these rigs will be daily driven through the winter. This one is going to be getting stored. So I'm going to start off by draining all the water. I want to get all the water tanks in each one drained out. I want to purge everything out of the lines, and then I have some winter antifreeze I'm going to pump back through the lines. The reason that's important is because water, when it freezes, expands. And if it's inside a PVC line or inside any kind of tight housing and it freezes and expands, it can cause cracking and it can cause a leak. So in the spring, when you go to thaw it out, you might have water everywhere. So it's extremely important to get the water out of all of your water systems and just run dry over the winter if you can. I need to go around, drain all the water out, and we'll go from there. Might seem a little bit odd to be draining it just onto the floor in the shop, but that's why we have the drain as the low point in the floor. And there's some dirt on the floor, so I'm going to go around with a brush and scrub that off too, so it's a good way to clean the shop floor at the same time. And it's extremely cold outside, so I don't feel like opening the big door to pull things out to drain it and have it immediately freeze and turn into ice. So this is the easiest way to get rid of all the water. So while I'm waiting for this to drain, just wanted to show you guys what you want to do is get some of the pink RV antifreeze. Essentially, it's just alcohol, pure alcohol. It's not going to hurt anything. It is okay to put it right into your drinking water systems and any potable water. It's not going to hurt anything as long as in the spring you flush it really well. If you have a camper with a P-trap or a scent trap or anything like that, this one does not have that. It's just a straight shot out. But if you have an actual camper, make sure once you blow out all your water lines, you have scent traps through your sink or in your shower. You want to make sure you just dump a little bit of that down there to make sure it combines, and that'll prevent any kind of issues over the winter. So while I'm waiting for everything to finish draining over here, I just wanted to talk really quick about tires. Another really important thing when you're driving in icy, snowy conditions is to consider your tire selection. Right now, our rigs are running Mud Terrain General X3 tires, and that's great for summer driving, but the winter not so much. It may look good on paper because it's got a really aggressive tread pattern, but what you essentially want in the winter time is the opposite of a Mud Terrain. Mud Terrains have big voids in between the lugs, the big treads, to help throw the mud out. That's what they're designed for, is they're designed to grab mud and eject it to continue to get traction in mud. In the winter time, you'll notice that a dedicated winter tire is even more of a closed-in system than these all-terrain tires are here. Also, the rubber is a softer compound than on a mud terrain. So what we have found is that mud terrains tend to not do very well on ice, especially over an all-terrain or especially a dedicated snow tire. In our case, we are going to go back to our ATX all-terrains, and as you can see, we run studs on them. You'll need to look at your states and laws. We only run the studs in the wintertime due to the law. So we already have these on a second set of wheels, or you can have a set of these that you just swap out at the tire shop in the fall and the spring. But we like to run all-terrains with studs in the wintertime just to maximize the traction. Another interesting thing I'll point out is the studs have a very random pattern. Somebody with OCD, I did not like this. I was like, well, why is it there, but then it's not there? And it's just very randomized. What that is doing is it's helping prevent any kind of harmonics and like drone and hum on the highway. If these were perfectly even and patterned, it would have more of a drone and a hum than the way they have it set up, where it's just randomly placed. These will be noisier on dry pavement, but man, does it increase traction on the ice and snow. So once I'm done with all the other winterization on the trucks, I'm gonna be throwing these on, but I just wanted to talk to you guys really quick while I was waiting for everything to drain. But it sounds like everything is done. So now I'm gonna go on to the next step. All right guys, so I have blown out all the water lines, so it's just been very mild spitting. So I'm very confident that I got all the water out of all the water lines. Only thing that's left to do is wherever I can, I'm just gonna add a little bit of the RV antifreeze back in just to confirm that there's no water in there that's gonna freeze and expand over the winter time. And again, the pink antifreeze, if you look at the ingredients, it is basically just alcohol. So no issues there. Once spring comes, we run a bunch of water through it to help clean and purge it out. It'll be just fine. So now that we have winterized the water systems, you might be wondering, well, how do I use water if I go out? Now that the water tanks are dry, you don't want to run any new water through there. You'd have to go through the whole process again. So there are a lot of ways you can use water in the wintertime. A lot of it's pretty obvious, like using water bottles, water jerrys, or what we've been using lately that we really like, a little bit more on the premium side, but it's a Dometic water jug. And what's cool is you can use the manual spigot, or you have this little rechargeable one, you double press it and it turns on, turn it off. So this is a really convenient way to be able to easily transport water to and from your house into your overland rig or camper, use it for the weekend or what have you, and then you're not worried about winterizing. You just want to make sure you don't store this outside in the freezing weather. So easy way to take in and out of the house and still have running water. Okay guys, I have all the vehicles drained out, fully winterized as far as I'm concerned, with the antifreeze added into the system. So I'm feeling very confident. With the freezing temperatures coming up, all the water systems are safe. The next thing I want to address or talk about is keeping critters and rodents out. And basically that just means going through your trailer, your camper, your vehicle, and trying to get rid of any food sources that would bring them in. There's other reasons that they will come in, but generally speaking, it's because they're after food and they're after warmth. Just going through any drawers, containers, and just making sure you get rid of any snacks, wrappers, scraps, anything that might draw them in. As I'm doing this, I'm just gonna leave all these compartments open. This is another good example of winterizing your system to eliminate water, is also eliminating moisture, humidity, especially if it's gonna be sitting for a long time. All these are closed up, these are sealed off, but if this is wet or humid or damp inside, that moisture is just gonna sit there all winter, and you may open it up in the spring and it's gonna get very mildewy and moldy and just gross. So it's always a good idea to at least have it on a nice dry warm day. Just crack everything open so all the humidity can dry out. Okay. So the next big topic to go over is how do you store your batteries, or how do you deal with batteries and freezing temperatures? The biggest thing to think about or to know is that below freezing temperatures negatively affects any battery. Some batteries are affected differently, but just know the colder it gets, the less performance you will get out of your battery. In the grand scheme of things, a lithium deep cycle battery, which we have in most of our rigs, are going to be the most consistent in cold weather just due to the chemistry. But know that if the lithium battery's internals are below 32 degrees or 0 degrees Celsius, the built-in battery management of that battery will prevent any charge from going back into the battery. So you can use your battery, whatever battery you have, use the charge in it, just know that it has to be warmed up, or it needs to be in a warm environment for whatever system you have to put charge back into that battery. Other deep cycle batteries like gels, flooded, just lead acids, they will allow you to recharge in colder weather, mostly because there is no built-in BMS system saying, hey, don't do it. Just know that using it a lot in below freezing temperatures and recharging it will actually diminish the overall life of the battery. So just know that. Again and again, everybody has a completely different system with batteries, so just know what you have and just take as many precautions as you can, whether you're storing your rig or trailer or you're going to be using it throughout the winter. If you're storing your trailer, we'll start out with that one. The best course of action is to fully charge up your battery and remove it, or remove it from your trailer, bring it into your garage or your house in a warm environment and get it on a trickle charger and just have it fully charged up. If you can't do that for some reason, or if it's a real pain to get to the battery, fully charge that battery up during the day when it's warm, or get it into a warm environment, and then leave it completely disconnected from any loads throughout the winter. So if you're storing it at a storage unit or somewhere else, disconnect the terminals or what have you. What I'm going to do with this trailer, since we're going to be storing this long term, is in the Red Vision Red Arc system, there is a storage mode that'll automatically disconnect all the loads from the batteries that are deep inside. So a lot easier than digging in there and manually doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with this guy. With Adigan, we're going to be using this throughout the winter. It has a deep cycle lithium battery in it, and what we do is we leave it plugged in all the time. Even if it's outside and it's super cold, if it does warm up enough, it'll allow it to stay charged. But ideally, we're going to have this parked inside the shop where it stays heated, and then that'll keep this happy. With Clay's Ram, he actually has Battleborn self-heating batteries in it, so it really doesn't matter. You can have it parked outside, plugged in, or have the solar putting charge into the batteries, but it actually has an internal heating element in the batteries. And that's a cool new tech that's starting to become the norm, are self-heating deep cycle lithium batteries, because that alleviates all of these issues of extreme cold weather during the winter. There are other ways you can heat batteries. They actually make heating battery wraps, or I've even seen folks take the same heating pads that are designed for camper water tanks and just put it on the side of the battery. Again, the goal is just to keep that battery above freezing so you can continue to use it. So with all that being said, I'm just gonna double check that everything is plugged in. But long story short, extreme colds will reduce your battery capacity. So anything you can do to keep them warm while you're using it during the winter will help. All right, well, the last thing to do is to swap out our mud trains on Adigan and the Ram to our all trains that are studded so we can daily drive them in the winter. Yeah. Well, the only thing that's left is to swap out the tires on Adigan. I'm gonna do that tomorrow because it is getting late and I need to run some other errands before the end of the day. So we'll see you guys in the morning. Well guys, I got the tires swapped out on Adigan, so we are pretty much ready to go for the winter months coming up. Last thing I need to do is get the trailer over into storage. It's all buttoned up, ready to go. So that does it for this shop talk. But again, just keep in mind guys, the extreme cold in the winter does negatively affect your water systems, your batteries. So take whatever measures you can to prevent any long-term problems. Best case scenario is just purge all the water out of your systems, fully charge your batteries before storing or remove them all together, and make sure you remove any food that's been stored in your vehicle over the summer. So we'll see you guys on the next shop talk and be safe out there this winter.